Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. I said good morning, good morning. What do you think we should do? I think we should share some gratitude and then we'll lift our attitudes and then we'll sit here together and celebrate the day. And if you don't like the gratitude I share, then I'll give you the mic and we will all listen to what you have to say. Yeah, it's love morning. Yeah, love morning. Yeah, love morning. Yeah, doo-be-doo-doo. Good morning. Welcome to another daily love morning. It's Monday, right? Woo! Good morning, Gerbot. Good morning, everyone who might be tuning in late and seeing this archive. Hi, it's Monday morning. Good morning, Abigail. Oh boy, I've had an interesting day already. One of my projects for the weekend was trying to deal with a cricket that has been stuck behind our fridge for months. It's loud and I feel so much like Bill Murray in the Caddyshack movies, like just obsessed, like, you little gopher, come on, you little cricket, I'm gonna get you. But so far elusive. So this weekend or yesterday, pulled the fridge out. There is kind of like a crack along the wall. So borrowed a putty knife and got some spackle and filled in the crack. Also realized that I put a trap underneath there, a sticky trap, thinking I might catch the cricket a couple months ago. Did not catch the cricket, but did catch a mouse. So luckily found the mouse before it became too decayed. And then, this morning I wake up to the sound of chirp, chirp, chirping cricket. And slowly but surely I've figured out that he or she, don't want to be sexist about my nemesis, is in the fridge, underneath in the fridge. And so I took the vacuum cleaner and I tried to suck up anything I could that's down in there. I don't think I got him, but I think it was traumatic enough that maybe he'll think about another place to live. I don't know, but I mean, I was this close to dismantling the fridge and then realized that I have never taken something apart and put it back together. I probably should not start with a running refrigerator. Good morning, Jobin. And happy Monday to everyone. If you've got something that you're grateful for, why don't you share? What are you feeling grateful for today? I am grateful that I might get to see my online friend, Aaron, who I've never met in person. He's traveling through California and said he will be in San Diego today. So if you are seeing this, Aaron, I would love an opportunity to meet up with you. I think he sleeps in a little later than me. So I didn't mean anything by that. If you were here last week when Mingle was here, she talked about meeting up with Aaron. I tried to get him to join for Noon Gratitude, but I don't know. I think our timing will work. Abigail says, I'm feeling grateful for friends who check in on me and hold space when I am visibly struggling. That is nice. I occasionally in the last couple of months after I post something that's a little dark, I've had people call and send me messages. And it is a nice feeling to know that, all right, people want you to know that they care. And that can go a long way. Gerbot is grateful for Twitch and for all the great DJs that bring the party to me. Nice. I know that I got kind of into that in early pandemic times, but I have not been spending that much time on online parties since then. Well, I'm also not partying in front of my computer as much as I was a year ago when I was still imbibing in significant ways. there was a time when I was doing quite a bit of intoxicated dancing and partying in front of the webcam. You may have caught me at a sunset dance party or even in this space. I am grateful for a message I got yesterday from someone that I really respect. I don't know them well. We have met, and they wrote me a really wonderful note in response to reading about my sobriety journey. And it was really touching, and it meant a lot. This is somebody that I thought that they didn't like me. And it ended with some really nice words about me. And I was just that. So I'm grateful that I got that kind of lift me up yesterday. Good morning, Kiri. Good morning. I'm grateful for Facebook memories that will remind me of practices. I just was scanning through, I don't even know what it was, but it's some post from years ago, 1 or 2 or 3 years ago. And there was, I think it was a Facebook, it was a more live like this. And I saw Kiri's comments with some gratitude that you were sharing. So look at us putting in the work. All right. Kiri says, looks like Grandpa Caleb has the man's head. That was the goal. This is Gustavo, who's often here. He made this incredible man head with abalone shell inlaid in it. Let's see if I can get it off me. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's stuck on me forever and ever. But it's really cool. You see that? Yeah. Now you can see Grandpa's head. I'm in this moment, I am grateful for a friend that I will give them a different name. I will say my friend, Raina. And Raina is someone who years ago, we were connected to the Burning Man community. They were a big supporter of Hug Nation years ago, more than 10 years ago. And they invited me to speak at their home for Thanksgiving once. And they invited a bunch of people to have an audience, and I gave a talk, and I really felt like this was someone who was, as supportive as anyone has ever been to me and to my message and my work. And then over the years, Raina got pretty passionate about certain viewpoints, chemtrails and conspiracies, and about extinguishing of the human race and things. And Raina became very concerned that I was not taking it more seriously, and I was not using my platform to let people know. And I had to say, look, I these ideas don't resonate with me, and so I respect you and your ability, your right to think and act and on any information and beliefs that you have, but it just that's not my truth. And so I'm not going to integrate it into the way that I walk through the world. And she was upset and started kind of attacking me about it. And then I blocked her. And then a few years later, I unblocked, and she returned with a bunch of apologies. And, I kind of got out of line. I'm sorry about that. And there was a brief period where I felt to show her support again. And then very quickly, a time when she felt like I was not being passionate enough about something that was important in the world. And just a few days ago, she started reaching out to me, telling me, sharing poetry about the Palestinians, and sharing her personal relationships with Palestinians and their experiences. And I didn't respond. you know, it's kind of like I was not. I know my experience in this relationship is that I'm not being invited to a conversation. I am being offered a truth, and if I don't accept it, then there are consequences. And so I just didn't respond, and eventually she kind of got upset with me and blocked me. This is over a course of 48 hours. Reaching out after years, telling me a bunch of information, saying, "Are you going to block me or not?" and then blocking me. And in this moment, I'm feeling gratitude for her. I'm feeling gratitude for her passion and her activism and her desire to do what she thinks is best. I have been struggling with the correct way, the righteous way to process, deal with, and act on the information that I am exposed to around the Gaza Strip. I have listened to very smart people explain to me who the villains are with contradicting stories. I have watched people who I believe to be smart and passionate with the way that they have spoken and acted and wondered, what good does it do? And there's another piece of it that which is why I'm grateful for this kind of nudge into this thought process and conversation, is that there is, how do I speak to this? I've had 2 therapists in the last month kind of nudge me towards spending some time delving into the darkness. I had an incredibly fertile exploration of my shadow in my shadow work, realizing of something that happened when I was about 11. And let's see. So when I was about 11, I was in 5th grade. I went to a new school. I was having a hard time, very hard time. And it was a time when there was like famines in the world and famines on TV. There was this talk of nuclear war and nuclear holocaust, the extinction of humanity. And at the same time, I was getting a grasp on science enough to understand that eventually the sun and everyone on Earth would eventually be extinguished. And I was looking at all this suffering and all this, and I just was like, what's the fucking point? Why endure all this? And I went to a really dark place. And my mom caught me with a belt around my neck, hanging myself from a doorknob. And I don't know if I was actually trying to kill myself or if it was just a call for help. But either way, I was unable to hold this worldview, this reality that was born into and aware of in that moment. And so I'm more aware now that a part of me constructed self-defense mechanisms to avoid returning to that darkness, that place of despair. And even getting close to it is an incredibly scary state of mind for me. Even thinking about that place is a scary state of mind. And in a recent shadow work session, the one that really blew me open, I was taken back and recognized that a lot of my inner critic is rooted in that 11-year-old part of me that's trying to protect me from getting too far off balance and falling into that abyss again. But both of my therapists are asking me, do you feel resourced enough to face that? And intellectually, I do. And at the same time, it feels very scary. And I think that the world right now, the news of the Gaza Strip, is a really perfect classroom for me to try to face this darkness. There is suffering, there is death, there is cruelty, there is unfathomable unfairness. There is no clear solution. It just is this darkness of human experience. And so, how can I hold this in my worldview, keep an open heart, and not be overwhelmed with why? What's the point? And so I don't have this all figured out. I mean, I woke up really early this morning with this in my mind, and so I've been writing about it this morning, and recognizing that a part of me has been slipping into a little bit of why? What's the point? You know, I've got a whole bunch of backlogged videos I haven't uploaded, and I really were focused on my relationship, this kind of um, safe space of what I know matters, personal relationships, my world. And that's kind of been my answer to that big question of how do you go on? How do you keep trying to be kind in a and spread light in a world with so much darkness? And my answer has been, well, you don't, that's not the fight. The fight isn't ending darkness and ending cruelty. The fight is, can I expand light a little in whatever capacity? And it doesn't mean that if there's darkness somewhere, I have to address that darkness. It means I have to address some darkness, whether in myself or in my environment. And so that has been the worldview that has allowed me to continue on in the world and try to be of service and trying to be a love ambassador when I know I am not doing anything to help starving children in Africa or dying children in the Gaza Strip. And I guess that is a place where I have to have faith. And I guess I have to keep questioning and going, is there something else that I could be doing? I mean, if it doesn't feel right, then there's something else I should be doing. But I don't want to live in a way that nothing feels right or I never feel right. I don't want to live a martyr's life of sacrificing the joy, the celebration, the bliss of being alive in a human body, sacrifice it all in the attempt to rid the world of all suffering. I don't think that is the answer. What is the sweet spot that we can find of being someone who has is connected enough to the joy of being alive that they have energy left over to try to reduce the darkness in the world, to try to reduce the suffering in the world? And I don't know what that means for what's going on in the world today. It's made so much more complicated by this incredibly sophisticated manipulation and deceit tools that are available to people. As we see, the way AI is being used, the way that we see news and fake news channels are weaponized, and the way that we see one another weaponized. I mean, it's almost impossible to say any opinion loudly and not have someone attack you back in a cruel and mean way. So I guess all of this is partially justifying my silence and recognizing that my silence does not mean that I have resolution. And I will continue, and I urge us all to continue to find a place where our heart stays open so that we can do what we can do to heal ourselves in little bitty ways, heal the world. Thank Thank you. I love you. Whew. Well, that's what I've been thinking about. That's why I put darkness thoughts before the subject. I didn't want to drop that on anyone non-consensually. Natasha is on the anxiety struggle bus today. Just finished an appointment with my psychiatrist, feeling grateful I finished in time to catch Love Morning. Y'all hold me up. Oh, hopefully I didn't knock the knees out from under you right there. Natasha says, the butterfly effect, though, yo. And I think that is, yes, I think that is an important thing to hold on to, is that we have no idea that the ripples of our kind acts. And that, it's the direction, not distance concept that I hope is not a spiritual bypassing thing. I have to keep checking in, am I bypassing? I mean, I think that if you get caught up in trying to end cruelty, then you end every day feeling like I've failed. But if you can make your goal to increase kindness or reduce cruelty in a little bit, then know the direction you're going, not the distance that you have to go, then you can end a day feeling like you have succeeded. And that's a mission that you can sign up for day after day. Whereas if you fail day after day after day, that's when you fall into that hopeless. That's when you fall into that darkness and go, what's the point? Joya says, that is so not the fight. So grateful for expanding my world so I can live in light, not ignoring, just choosing which to feed. Abigail says, it's all a piece of the puzzle to heal the world. Thank you, Joe. Jobin says, dive, but I'm just looking for company. You mean like ocean dive? Curie says, I am feeling grateful to have been a light for many in their darkness. Grateful for the love I give myself that allows me to do so. That's beautiful. Love that, Curie. Gearbot says, I'm grateful to live in a place where I don't have to constantly worry about my personal security. Yes. It's remarkable what this last 6 months have done for my gratitude baseline in terms of safety and pain. Every other stress in life is so silly compared to those two. Oh man, I have a cricket behind my fridge, my working fridge, and electricity that's coming to my house, and yes, that's the fun ride of being alive. Safety and pain are not fun rides. Super grateful to be out of nerve pain right now. Jobin says, lots of little lights make a brighter world. Maybe someday for everyone. Like that. Great morning, Jason. Roger says, in sharing where we are in darkness, we sometimes discover our light. Beautiful. Thanks, Roger. Good morning, Hope. First world problems, says Gerbot. Yeah. It isn't to say that they aren't stressful, but that's a practice like this can be so helpful in taking a little of the sting out of those problems. Even as I was getting obsessed with the fridge, I wasn't really, it was more like this is an adventure in my life. And I think it's because of this practice of constantly keeping a tally of all the things that are good, all that is amazing, all that is, there's just so much in the column of awesome in my life. And if you don't keep that list, if you don't keep practicing, you start to forget. So I'm grateful for the tools that we can connect with in these digital ways, that I can be sitting in this room, just me and a cricket, and yet feel connected to you. I'm grateful for this kind of trust that we build so I can speak to issues that honestly I'm afraid of speaking about publicly for fear of backlash and attacks, because there's a lot of passion. And I'm grateful for this space of honoring and respecting our truths. Carolyn says, you can absorb all sorts of things, but then you choose what to radiate. Just because you absorb something doesn't mean you have to radiate it. Kiri is grateful for her favorite Indian food restaurant opens in 4 minutes so I can order delivery to my work. What a privilege. Love it. Jason says, funny how crickets are cool sounding when camping, but the cricket under the fridge is a nuisance. Yes, I love that. How many times, yes, nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so, says old Shakespeare, and maybe context as well. Natasha says, I remember getting so mad at a cricket in my apartment in like 2001. I literally moved apartments. I look back now and it seems so silly. I mean, I'll have moments where it doesn't seem silly. It seems like how has locusts been sent to me by a plague? Am I not Job? Have I forsaken thee, Lord? A cricket under the fridge is a new kitchen sound effect. Yeah. What I told Lisa this morning, I go, there's another version of the story where there's a courageous musician who's trying to share his song with the world, and he's facing this giant who's trying to wipe him out. I don't know what the cricket's been eating. I mean, it's under the fridge. There's a pan in there, so maybe something that's dripped down there. Maybe he leaves and comes back. I don't know. Maybe by sealing the crack in the wall, maybe it did solve things. I don't know. Mark, the archive will be available in just 30 seconds. But good to see you. And good morning, Tall Paul. It is a beautiful glass. Da-da. And with that, wherever you are, let's give ourselves a hug. Feeling our bodies, feeling gratitude for the state of our bodies and the healing and all of the incredible beating of this heart that's been doing all night long for us, and the day before and the day before and the day before and the day before and the day before. I'm grateful for this opportunity to speak and share ideas and recalibrate. Grateful for all the creatures in the world, even the ones trapped inside our homes. Grateful for all the lessons, even if we don't recognize them as they're happening. And grateful for the capacity to open our hearts, even when it hurts sometimes. Let's take a deep breath in and squeeze. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of you beautiful ambassadors of love, thanks for being here for this Hug Nation Love Morning. I love you. Job and I should totally use AI to write a children's story about a courageous cricket and the ogre giant, the pink-haired giant trying to extinguish him. Love you. Enjoy the day. Happy Monday.